Alright, just give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Shema Washai. Double honor to the apostle, brothers, and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hope for the elect. Shalom. So we're going to get right to this lesson. As you see, the title will say prophesy against Edom. So we're going to get right into it. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 12. We're just going to get right into it. No, I said Ezekiel. Not to make this too long, but we'll get right into Ezekiel 25, verse 12. God said, the Lord power, because that Edom had dealt against the house of Jacob, the house of Judah, and by taking vengeance, and had greater offense, and had revealed himself upon thee. Verse 13, therefore thou said the Lord power, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and I will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and I will then of Duna shall fall by the sword. Verse 14, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom, and by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger, and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, said the Lord. Right, they shall know my vengeance, said the Lord. So let's get right to it and get to this video.
Had established their power base in the city.
I'm Congressman Dean Phillips, and as Vice Chair of the Bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus, I'm working to build consensus on our biggest challenges, from addressing inflation to making our communities safer. And I'm proud of everything we've accomplished together so far. There's hard work ahead, and we're stronger when everyone's at the table.
Other part, I hope this, let's get right to it.
This page was created to teach Black history. Unfortunately, the American educational system is designed to exclude our real historical accounts, so we are here to dismantle it. It's time to enlighten those of us who have been kept in the dark. I am a Black man who didn't know enough about my own history, so I began to dig deeper and do my own research. Black history is American history, so I want people of all races and cultures to join together to learn our history as one. Here, I will share all of my findings. Please like, follow, share, and subscribe to Teaching Black History. The story of Will Brown and the Omaha Race Riot of 1919. In 1910, Omaha had the third largest Black population among the new western cities that had become destinations following Reconstruction and during the Great Migration that started in the 1910s. By 1920, the Black population more than doubled to over 10,000, second only to Los Angeles with nearly 16,000. The major meatpacking plants hired Blacks as strikebreakers in 1917. South Omaha's working class whites showed great hostility toward Black strikebreakers. By this time, the ethnic Irish, the largest and earliest group of immigrants, had established their power base in the city. Following several strikes throughout the previous year, 2 detectives with Omaha Police Department Moral Squad shot and killed an African-American bellhop on September 11th. Local media reports of the alleged rape of a 19-year-old Angus Lobach on September 25, 1919 triggered the violence associated with Will Brown's lynching. The following day, police arrested 41-year-old Will Brown as a suspect. Lobick identified Brown as her rapist. However, during questioning, Brown stated that Lubbock did not make positive identification, which Lubbock later refuted. There was an unsuccessful attempt to lynch Brown on the day of his arrest. At about 2 p.m. on Sunday, September 28, 1919, a large group of white youths gathered near the Bancroft School in the South Omaha and began a march to the Douglas County Courthouse, where Brown was being held. The march was intercepted by John T. Dunn, chief of the Omaha Detective Bureau. Dunn attempted to disperse the crowd, but they ignored his warning and marched on. 30 police officers were guarding the courthouse when the marchers arrived. By 4 p.m., the crowd had grown much larger. Members of the crowd bantered with the officers until the police were convinced that the crowd posed no serious threat. A report to that effect was made to the Central Police Station, and the captain in charge sent 50 reserve officers home for the day. By 5 p.m., a mob between 5,000 and 15,000 people had crowded into the street on the south side of the Douglas County Courthouse. They began to assault the police officers, pushing one through a pane of glass in a door and attacking 2 others who had wielded clubs at the mob. At 5:15, officers deployed fire hoses to dispel the crowd, but they responded with a shower of bricks and sticks. Nearly every window on the south side of the courthouse was broken. The crowd stormed the lower doors of the courthouse, and the police inside discharged their weapons down an elevator shaft in an attempt to frighten them. But this further incited the mob. They again rushed the police, who were standing guard outside the building, broke their lines, and entered the courthouse through a broken basement door. It was at this moment that Marshal Eberstein, chief of police, arrived. Chief Eberstein tried to tell the mob that its mission would best be served by letting justice take its course. The crowd refused to listen. By 6 p.m., droves swarmed about the courthouse on all sides. The crowd whistled revolvers, badges, and caps from policemen. They chased and beat every African American who ventured into the vicinity. White civilians who attempted to rescue black civilians were subject to physical abuse. The police had lost control of the crowd. By 7 p.m., most of the police had withdrawn to the interior of the courthouse. There, they joined forces with Michael Clark, sheriff of Douglas County, who had summoned his deputies to the building with the hope of preventing the capture of Brown. The policemen and sheriffs formed their line of last resistance on the 4th floor of the courthouse. The police were not successful in their efforts. Before 8 p.m., they discovered that the crowd had set the courthouse building on fire. Its leaders had tapped a nearby gasoline filling station and saturated the lower floors with the flammable liquid. Shots were fired as the mob pillaged hardware stores in the business district and entered pawn shops seeking firearms. Police records showed that more than 1,000 revolvers and shotguns were stolen that night. The mob shot at any policeman. 7 officers received gunshot wounds, although none of the wounds were serious. Louis Young, 16 years old, was fatally shot in the stomach while leading a gang up to the 4th floor of the building. Witnesses said the youth was the most entrant of the mob's leaders. Pandemonium reigned outside the building at 17th and Douglas Streets, 1 block from the courthouse. James Heichel, a 34-year-old businessman, was shot and killed. The mob continued to strike the courthouse with bullets and rocks, and many civilians were caught in the midst of the mayhem. Spectators were shot while women were thrown to the ground and trampled. Blacks were dragged from streetcars and beaten. Many members of the mob even inflicted minor wounds upon themselves. About 11 o'clock, when the frenzy was at its height, Mayor Edward Smith came out of the east door of the courthouse into 17th Street. He had been in the burning building for hours. As he emerged from the doorway, a shot rang out. "He shot me. Mayor Smith shot me," a young man in the uniform of the United States soldier yelled. The crowd surged toward the mayor. He fought them. One man hit the mayor on the head with a baseball bat. Another slipped a noose of a rope around his neck. The crowd started to drag him away. "If you must hang somebody, then let it be me," the mayor said. The mob dragged the mayor into Harney Street. A woman reached out and tore the noose from his neck. Men in the mob replaced him. Civilians wrestled the mayor from his captors and placed him in a police automobile.
Honestly, we should have used a condom, but we got distracted.
Honestly, we've been together for a while, so
This much a little bit part more
The
is.
thrower overturned the car and grabbed him again. Once more, the rope encircled the mayor's neck. He was carried to the 16th and Harney Streets. There he was hanging from the metal arm of a traffic signal tower. Smith was suspended in the air when State Agent Ben Daniels drove a high-powered automobile into the throw right to the base of the signal tower. In the
So
car,
you see the perpetual hate
was
against the children of Israel, man. This damn devil, man. You see that, man. So let's go right from scripture. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 12. It said, "Thou said the Lord power, because that Edom had dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and had greater offense, and had revealed himself upon them." Verse 13, "Therefore thou said the Lord power, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and I will cut off a beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Tema, and thy Redeemer shall fall by the sword." Verse 14, "And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and I shall know my vengeance, said the Lord." Let's move on. Let me see how much time I spent. Okay. All right, let's go to Amos 1:11. Amos 1:11, "Thou said the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punish thereof, because he had did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off pity. His anger did tear perpetual, and he kept his wrath forever." Let's read again, Amos 1:11. "Thou said the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punish thereof, But as he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off pity, and his anger did tear prosper, and he kept his wrath forever. All right, let's go to Jeremiah 34:16. Yeah, I think they good. Jeremiah 30:16. Therefore, all that devoured thee shall be devoured, and all that adversary, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and that they spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all them that prey upon thee will I give them for a prey. Will I give them for a prey? Jeremiah 30:6. Therefore, all that devoured thee shall be devoured, and all their adversary, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and that they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee, I give them for a prey. All right. Lamentation 4:21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwell in the land of Uz. The cups also shall pass through thee. It shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt drink and shalt make thyself naked. The punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away in captivity. He will visit thy iniquity, O daughter of Edom, and he will discover thy sins. Right, he will discover thy sins. Lamentation 4:22. The punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away in captivity. He will visit thy iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sin. Proverbs 11:21. The hands join in hands. The hands join in hands. The wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. Right. Proverbs chapter 11:21. The hands join in hands. The wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. Proverbs chapter 6, verse, let me see this. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16. There are 6 things the Lord hate, yet 7 are abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue, a hand that shed innocent blood, the heart that devour wicked, imagination, foot that is be swift and run into mischief, a false witness that speak lies, and he that soweth discord among brothers. Let's read it again. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16. He said, there are 6 things the Lord hate, yet 7 are abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue, a hand that shed innocent blood, a heart that devour wicked, imagination, foot that be swiftful and running to mischief. All right. Let's go to Ezekiel. (35) verse 1. It said, prophesy against Mount Seir. He said, moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me. Say, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord, power. Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate, right? Make thee most desolate. Ezekiel 35 verse 4, and I will lay thy city wasted, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Because they had perpetually hated. Let me read again, Ezekiel 35 verse 5. Because they had a perpetually hated, and had shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, the time of they had, in the time that their iniquity have ended. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will pursue thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Said I have not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee, right? Hated blood. Ezekiel 35 verse 6, therefore as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Said that I hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thou will make Mount Seir most desolate, and I will cut off from it him that passed out, him that returned. Verse 9, and I will make thee pestilent, desolate, and thy city shall not return, and you shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh by Shema Shah. Verse 11, therefore as I live, saith the Lord power, and I will do according to thy anger, and according to thy envy, which thou have used out of thy hate against them, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee, right? When I have judged thee. Verse 12, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, and they have heard all the blasphemy which have spoke against the mountain of Israel. So they are laid desolate, and they are given us to consume. Though with your mouth, yet you have boast against me, and I have multiplied your words against me, and I heard them. Thus saith the Lord, power. When the whole earth rejoice, I will make thee desolate, as it did rejoice at the inhabitant of the house of Israel, because it was desolate. So I will do unto thee, and thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Adumia, even all it. They shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh by Shema Shah. Prophesy against Mount Seir. Let's go back to that. Ezekiel 35 verse 4. It said, I will lay your city wasted, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah. Because they had a perpetually hated, and had shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time their iniquity have ended. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Say they not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Right, blood shall pursue thee. Let me see what else. Let me see this. Let me see. No, Yep, that's not what I want. What else we got here? What is he getting? Let's go to Galatians 6 verse 7. Galatians 6 verse 7, it said, "Be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap." Right, that shall he also reap. We got again in Galatians 6 verse 7, "Be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked." The Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. Galatians 6 verse 7 again, "Be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked. For whosoever a man soweth, that should he also reap." All right, go to Revelation. What else? Revelation, Revelation 13, verse 9. "If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth in captivity shall go into captivity. He that kill with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints." We again, Revelation chapter 13, verse 10. "He that leadeth in captivity shall go into captivity. He that kill with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints." Revelation 18, verse 5. It said, "For her sins have reached up to heaven, and the Most High remember her iniquity." Verse 6, "War hard, even she have reward you, and double unto her to her works in the cup which she filled, and fill to her double. How much she had glory for herself and lived delicious, so much turmoil and sorrow give her, for she had said in her heart, I say as a queen, and no widow, and I should see no sorrows." Right, I should see no sorrow. Revelation 18 verse 5, "For her sins are reached up to heaven, and the Most High remember her iniquity." Right, remember her iniquity. And what else I got? Speech. Yeah. Let me see. I think I got one more, but can't. Okay, let's go to Proverbs 13, verse 9. Let's get that. Proverbs 13, verse 9. "The light of the righteous rejoice, but the lamp of the wicked shall be put out." Right. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 9. It says, "The light of the righteous rejoice, but the lamp of the wicked shall be put out." Right. The lamp of the wicked shall be put out. Let's go. I got one more. Let's go to Jeremiah 51, verse 7. Let me see. Yeah. Jeremiah 57. No, Jeremiah 51, verse 7. No, let's go to verse 6. Yeah, flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off for her iniquity. For this is the time of the Lord vengeance, and he will render unto her a recompense. Babylon had been a golden cups in the Lord's hands, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunk of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Verse 9. We will heal Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go, everyone unto his own country. For her judgment is reached up to heaven, and lifted up even to the sky. Alright, let's get one more scripture. Let's go to Isaiah 34. Was it 8? Yeah. Isaiah 34 verse 8. For this is the day of the Lord vengeance, and the year of recompense for the congregation of Zion. Right. Isaiah 34 verse 8. For it's the day of the Lord vengeance, and the year of recompense for the congregation of Zion. So look, you see this? Man, sure got a lot of things to pay for.
City detectives Al Anderson, Charles Denson, and Lloyd Tolan. They grasped the mirror, and Russell Norgard untied the noose. The detectives brought the mirror to Ford Hospital. There he lingered between life and death for several hours, finally recovering. They shall not get him. Mob rule will not prevail in Omaha, the mayor kept muttering. Policemen were trapped in the building. I could possibly burn to death. These slips of paper were thrown from the 4th floor on the west side of the building. On one piece was scribbled, the judge says he will give up Negro Brown. He is in a dungeon. There are 100 white prisoners on the roof. Save them. Come to the 4th floor of the building, and we will hand the Negro over to you. The mob in the street cheered at the last message. Boys and young men placed firemen's ladders against the building. They mounted to the 2nd story. One man had a heavy coiled rope on his neck, and another carried a shotgun. 2 or 3 minutes after unidentified men had climbed to the 4th floor, Will Brown had been captured. A few minutes later, his lifeless body was hanging from a telephone post at 18th and Harney Street. Hundreds of revolvers and shotguns were fired at the corpse as it dangled in midair. Then the rope was cut. Brown's body was tied to the rear end of an automobile. It was dragged through the streets to 17th and Dodge Streets, 4 blocks away. The oil from red lanterns used as danger signals for street repairs was poured on the corpse. It was burned. Members of the mob hauled the charred remains through the business district for several hours. Sheriff Clark said that black prisoners hurled Brown into the hands of the mob as his leaders approached the stairway leading to the county jail. Clark also reported that Brown moaned, "I am innocent. I never did it. My God, I am innocent," as he was surrendered to the mob. The lawlessness continued for several hours after Brown had been lynched. Both the police patrol and emergency automobiles were burned. The riot lasted until 3 a.m. on the morning of September 29th. At that hour, federal troops under command of Colonel John E. Morris of the 20th Infantry arrived from Fort Omaha and Fort Crook. Troops manning machine guns were placed in the heart of Omaha's business district, in North Omaha, the center of the black community, to protect civilians there, and in South Omaha to prevent more mobs from forming. Peace was enforced by 1,600 soldiers. On October 1st, 1919, Brown was laid.
So you see, gotta read it again, Isaiah 34 verse 8, for it's the day of the Lord's vengeance and the year of recompense for the congregation of Zion. So right, what did it say? It's the for it's the day of the Lord's vengeance and the year of recompense for the congregation of Zion. So I'm gonna let it go right there. So you see, hey, man, this you got a lot to pay for, man. A lot to pay for. As you see this race riot in 1990, Will Brown. So I'm gonna close it out right there. So we're gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh. By Shema Rashad, double honor to the apostle, brothers, and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hope for the elect. Shalom. Yep, Shalom. Close out this week for a minute. Okay.